Now, I want to say something about the difference between being in opposition and being in government. And I'm just saying this to young people who are working with political parties. You have to understand something. That when you are in opposition, anything is fair game. You can say anything and you get away with it. It's fine. When you're in opposition, the presidential candidate, the leader, can give anybody an appointment and he doesn't need to show CV. He can give anybody an appointment, doesn't need to show CV. He doesn't need to show any CV. He can give anybody an appointment. So if you watch this flyer behind me here, this was last year. John Dramani Mahama, presidential candidate as he then was of the National Democratic Congress, was leading a Women's Day, Women Empowerment, Empowering Women for the Future, the theme. Very, very good conference. And here you see it. This is John Dramani Mahama, the president. This is Joyce Bauer, one of my very good friends, but we are fighting right now. But she was a good friend of mine. I hope we'll be good friends again, or we'll fight again and be good friends again and fight again. This is Sansa Deli. And look at what they write there. Dr. and Sansa Deli. This was the NDC in opposition. In opposition, nobody is going to check CV. No, we don't. Nobody checks CV. Nobody cares. But once you get to government, then the CV becomes important. The criminal fraudster here represented herself as a doctor. And everybody accepted it. Look at the caliber of people on the flyer. Look at the caliber. Jenna Nopokwa Jeman, then running mate. Mrs. Kuma Odro is a certified counselor. This is our friend Prophet Odro, who miscalculated the e-levy and said that he had paid some humongous e-levy and social media came after him. And he likes to say, "Tie." And he couldn't tie the e-levy. But he's a good guy. He's a good guy. This is the Venerable Charlotte Osei with much distinction. We all know that. And this is Joyce Bauer, a qualified lawyer. And this is President John Dramani Mahama. On this platform, had this thief called Sansa Deli, thief, criminal, told everyone here, convinced everyone here that she's a doctor. It didn't matter. It didn't matter because it's opposition. That's how it is. She's such a thief that she smuggled her way into, I don't remember, I don't even know what she said. I didn't look at the conference. I'm wondering what she said because she has nothing to speak like a doctor. As soon as she speaks, you know that she's not a doctor. She's a fraudster, criminal that the police should be finding. They have still not found. She managed to find herself in this conference. Fair enough. Why was she able to do that? She was able to do that because of position. Okay, so she convinced everyone here that she's a doctor. Now power comes. And then her criminal, Mr. Sansa Deli, says that, hey, give me post. I have only SS2, so I can't get post. So give my post to the doctor. And the post is given to the doctor. But in government, you have to show the CV. When President Mahama appointed Mr. Tamaklo Eduji as the director of legal for the party, he didn't need to give anybody any CV. He just appointed him. But when he appointed him as the chief executive of the National Petroleum Authority, right there is a CV. Why is it so? Because the political party that forms the government, they actually take over the state. And the state has rules and regulations that nobody can change. So the state has rules and regulations that say, for instance, that if you want to nominate somebody for the Supreme Court, that person ought to have completed 15 years at the bar. If I am the best friend of the president loves me to bits, and he wins the election, and I have done 11 years at the bar, the president will not be able to nominate me for the Supreme Court. If he does that, Parliament will pull the nomination back. That's how government is. So that's for appointment and all of that. Let me have the photographs of the communicators, Chamima and Co. And I want to say something about that's for the appointment. You have to demonstrate your CV. And when the CV comes in, you see people are running helter-skelter all over the place these days. Tomorrow they say somebody is not a doctor. Tomorrow they say this. Then they change the appointment. This and that. Because they are in government. All these people play those roles in opposition. But in government, you can't do that. In government, the government takes over the state has its rules. Here is Felix Kwachio Fosu and Shamima Muslim. Now, when it gets to government, and I'm talking about journalists, when a government is in place, and you are a media person that supported the government in opposition, and therefore want to support the government in government, which is fair, there's no problem with that. You have to recognize that in supporting a government, you need to generate a narrative. You need brain. It's not as simple. In opposition, you just shout. So you come and then you are biting and say, hey, MPP government, reduce the petrol price. Akufo-Addo says they should carry chair for him. Look at 58 million cathedral hole. And then you go and swim in the hole. You can say that. And the people in opposition, they will like it. They will like you for that. As soon as they transition into government, you now need to develop a theory. When you cannot develop the theory because you don't have the capacity, the simple capacity to do it, you come and say about nurses that they don't have WASI. That is your way of explaining. That's your way of speaking for the government. But the government doesn't like that because you are making them look bad. Because you cannot think and you cannot create anything because you don't have the capacity. When the government is in government, you are useless to them. And people are beginning to find out. That's why you're seeing on social media, we won the election. And now they are talking to other people. No. You can bite. But if you cannot think and you cannot create a theory, you cannot do the thesis, the synthesis, the antithesis in government, you are finished. Because you are going to be worrying Shamima. When you call them, they will not pick. Because your head is empty. What are you coming to tell them? Nurses are on strike. Government says nurses want $1 billion and they get $2 billion and they cannot do it. If you are a government person, you have to generate a narrative. Well, come on your touch screen. Nurses say they want $2 billion. If that $2 billion is given to them, this is what's going to happen to the economy. Show your graphs, marginal utility, demand and supply. This is what's going to happen to the economy. Can we appeal to the nurses that they shouldn't do that? Because if you take $2 billion out, this is what is going to happen. Maybe they will not be able to do capex. If you do that, nobody will get angry with you. People might not agree with you, but they will know that you have developed a theory. It will happen like that. But if you don't have the capacity to develop a theory, you can't do the synthesis, you can't do the antithesis, then you will just come and say that, oh, nurses don't have WASI. They didn't pass WASI. And then the government doesn't want you because you are creating problem for them. Why are you creating problem for them? Because you cannot think. You can't think. You don't have thinking capacity. You don't have the tools to think. You think it is just about shouting. Shouting is easy. Go and tell Akufo-Addo to come and bring the 58 million. That's easy. That's easy. Everybody can say it. I can say it. Everyone can say it. So, Shamima, I'm going to give you a scenario of a conversation. That Shamima goes to Felix Kwachufos's office. And then they are sitting there and says, Felix, we should organize a press conference for the old man. And Felix says, you think so? I say, yeah. He said, what will people think? What are they? That's the conversations they have. I'm playing a scenario, but that's what happens. And then Shamima will say, okay, let's call some people, media people, and ask them. When they think about calling media people to ask them, they are not thinking about NDC media alone, no. They are thinking about media people who can think. So you biting over there with your empty head, they are not going to call you. And when you call them, Shamima will say, who is calling? He say, bite. You say, oh, you put the phone down. Let's talk to other people. They will call somebody. Yeah, they will call Kwesi Pratt for sure. They will call somebody who, get me the photograph of Blessed Soga of Joy FM, if you can. And then also, we've used it before. And then also the TV3 guy, Okansi. Get me those two photographs. I want to make an illustration with it. So Shamima will get a phone call and it's bite, and he'll say, oh, Charlie, put this guy, he's going to give us problems. He's going to talk about nurses don't have WASI for what? What? Charlie, throw him away. And they won't pick your call and you'll get frustrated. Shamima, them are going to decide that let us call Paul Adom-Otchere for what it's worth, or Kofi Mensah for what it's worth. They know that he's not with them. So they'll call, they say, put it on speaker. They'll put you on speaker. Hey, it's Kofi Nati saying, this is Shamima's voice. He said, hey, madam, none of them are dying. I don't know, give me, I'll come to that. Give me the other, keep it, I'll call for it. Give me the other one. So back to the Shamima conversation. There's an idea because I know a friend. They say, oh, Charlie, how are you? They say, Kofi, listen, Charlie, how are you doing your 38%? Are you managing it? They will tease each other small. So, okay. They say, Charlie, want to do a press conference for the old man. What do you think? Because what are people going to say? They say, well, it's been 6 months. He hasn't done a press conference. So we are just thinking that he should do. What do you think? I said, what are going to be the issues? He said, why don't you wait for the media review? This is Kofi, who is not NDC, who they respect his brain. This is what he's telling them. That why don't you wait for the media review budget? And after that, you can do the press conference. Because from what I'm seeing on the social media, the media review budget, you guys have something to say. I see that the Fitch has done an upgrading and a few things. The dollar is still stable. So maybe you should wait for that and do it. This is a genuine person who is not NDC. But because the two people respect his brain, they are going to call him. They'll put the phone down and say, okay, let's call Kweku Baako. So they'll call, Bombay, are you there? They say, you NDC people, what is happening? They say, oh, Bombay, we are doing well. This one there, you can't say we are not doing well. Look at the dollar, we are doing well. Akufo-Addo, was he able to do that? Then they will laugh. They'll say, Bombay, you want to do a press conference for the old man. What do you think? They say, when? So around this time. They will say, what are you going to say? We've said everything already. What are you going to say? So, well, we think that we should do a press conference for him. Then he might also say, do you have anything really to say? Then they'll ask him that, or you think we should finish the media review? They will say, yeah, that's a good idea. Maybe you can finish the media review. That's how they make their decisions. They are not making decisions with some empty head who is going to insult nurses and create problem for them. No, they are making their decisions with intelligent people, whether they are in NDC or they are in MPP, they are blue or they are red, because media is a fraternity. Media is a fraternity. So that's what happens. So when you are sitting down there, you are talking bites and your head is empty, when the party is in government as it is, you will be frustrated because you can't think, you can't create a theory, you can't create a thesis. You just come and you see, let people know that it doesn't matter about who passed WASSCE or who didn't pass WASSCE. It doesn't matter. When you are speaking on television and you are inarticulate, people can tell. And you are struggling to think, people can tell. When your brain capacity is not 16 karat, people can tell. They may not be NDC or MPP. They may not agree with what you are saying in terms of politics, but they can tell that this guy is smart. They can tell. I've never met Blessed Sogan before of Joy FM. When I watched his introduction to a Joy FM news and current affairs program, now give me Blessed Sogan, I came to the studio and said, wow, this guy is solid. This guy, he's solid. I said it before. Maybe some of you watching today didn't see it, but I said it before. I just heard the introduction. It's just that I didn't watch the whole program. He just said, this is Blessed Sogan, welcome to something he talked. You see, the way he picked the thing, I knew that the guy is solid. Look at Okanse at TV3. When you listen to Okanse, in a Saturday morning, I was watching him moderating their, I call it pre-news file. They have I think it's key points, that's what they call it. I saw him monitoring key points, and I was excited. Actually, this guy is solid. You see, some people are solid. They don't make noise. Those with their empty head come and talk about their great point. You won't talk about great point. People are talking about great point from Warwick, you know. You are talking about great points from, oh, please. Let's get serious. This guy is solid. Okanse is solid. And I'm excited that we have journalists who are solid. So it's important that we let people know. Young people right now who are following Kennedy Japan, you are following Mahamadou Bawumia, you are following Kwabene Japan. Beware that the day they become president is no longer about your shouting. It's about your ability to think and your genuine CV, not fake doctor, fake this, fake. If you do that, they love you. Yes, because you work for them on the campaign. But in governments, they have to submit the CV to somebody. And the check will come back and Callistus Mahama will write that the appointment revoked. And it will pain the president because he likes you. But now he has become owner of the state. And he has to apply the principles laid out by the state. And that includes CV. So you will be found wanting. And then the president will beg you and say, Charlie, you did, I beg you, you know, this and that and that. You see my friend Apia Stadium, very good friend of mine. Apia came and did a video and said, oh, they odebe mami bia, in school, but they odebe mami bia, meje. President Mahama loves Apia Stadium. I'm sure that if Apia Stadium had qualification, he would have been at National Security as the deputy director. But in the circumstances that myself and Kwame Apia find ourselves, we cannot be deputy national security. We just have to contain and maintain our loyalty to John Dramani Mahama and hope that our children, and I like Apia Stadium for that, he's very genuine about that. He's very honest about that. And he's hoping that John Dramani Mahama and the NDC will stay in power long, and then his children who are going to SSS will climb up to university, they'll become a lawyer. And one day, when the NDC is still in power and John Mahama is a godfather, he will go to John Mahama and say, this is my daughter. And John Mahama will say, Apia's daughter, make her deputy attorney general because she has been called to the bar. That's how it works. It's not empty talk. It's not empty head. As for opposition, we can all shout. But the day you come to government, you have to show your CV and you have to show your capacity. That's food for thought. Some people understand. Some people may not know why. Many people understand.